Roster moves. There was some roster moves, Nick. I know on X you kind of got into the weeds here a little bit, and I say into the weeds, but you're trying to rationalize maybe some of what these moves are, why they've done them, what it looks like. I guess from your perspective, the Reds' moves of late mean what to you?
Well, first off, they finally DFA'd Jacob Hurtubise, a guy we've talked about, a guy we really like and we rooted for. It felt pretty much long overdue. He just never got going at Triple-A after they sent him down. So there's probably a good chance that Hurtubise stays in the organization. I hope he does. I like him. I enjoy rooting for him. I'll never say never on these things because I feel like there's been a lot of times guys get put on DFA, and I think for sure that guy's going to get picked up, or there's no chance that guy gets picked up, and then somehow there's a team that has a need for him. But yeah, Hurtubise, it was clearly, I think, time to find a better use for that 40-man roster spot, and take the risk of someone picking him up. Ryan Vilade, interesting player that the Reds picked up. He has a little bit of MLB experience, not a whole lot. The nice thing is he plays just about every position. I think he plays every position other than first base and catcher, which is clearly, I think, a need for the Reds down in the Triple-A level and into the big leagues. Had a 375 on base percentage at Triple-A this year in 48 games. So I hope that he's the kind of and this is going to sound silly to probably some, I hope he's the protection for Garrett Hampson, that the Reds are going to DFA Garrett Hampson. I think they might swap him with Candelario. You put Candelario more in that role. But then if you have another injury and you need someone that can just come up and play multiple positions, he provides you some protection. So he just feels like a lot better use of your 40-man roster spot than Jacob Hurtubise. Not going to make a big deal about him. I don't see a whole lot that I see as a ton of upside, but I just feel like he's a better usage of that spot. And then the last guy, Brian Van Belle, the right-handed pitcher, so many similarities with Carson Spires, both undrafted free agents in the 2020 draft. Has kind of grinded his way through, was having a great year down at Triple-A, provides some depth. And also I think I'm hoping, is the protection if they decide to call up Chase Burns. Because if you do, let's just say Wade Miley would have gotten absolutely rocked today for whatever, and then maybe Wade Miley gets one more start and gets rocked. Then you say, all right, well let's call up Burns. Well, once you do that, the depth is really crumbling down at Triple-A starting pitching depth wise with Hunter Green. The latest updates saying it's going to be a long time for him. He provides you with some nice depth and a guy that I think is at least capable of having the potential to come up and at least, fill some starts if you need to. Hopefully you don't, but you have to be prepared. So that's kind of how I see all these moves. I hope these moves are all precursors for Garrett Hampson being DFA'd. See you later, buddy. And Chase Burns getting called up here in the near future.
I think if the Reds continue to win, I think it also forces the hand here a little bit. It does force the hand a little bit for the Reds to have to go and try to do something with the hole that Hunter Green has left. Not in the sense that it's Hunter Green's fault. I'm just saying that when you have that much production, you have a guy that you believe in as much as you do with Hunter Green, to have the replacement be kind of what we would call, over the hill pitchers or quadruple A starters, it's a recipe for not much success. In regards to something really quickly before we jump into Ellie's extension, which I know we got a super chat earlier by Houston asking about that. Houston Berger asking about that. Jacob Doyle chimed in and says, I don't need an expensive trade, but Vinny P level guy. I'm assuming he's talking about Vinny Pasquantino from the Royals. I just dug him up real fast. Like, listen, he's not a free agent until 2029. He is arbitration eligible, arbitration eligible next season. I just don't know what the appetite is for these other teams to be trading guys like that, unless you're going to give up a haul. And I guess do we Do we think that's what gets us over the proverbial hump? And I get the idea, and I get the sentiment. And listen, he has had OPS pluses above 100 every year he's been in the big leagues from the age of 24 to 27. Would he help this team? Yes. But I also think you have to remember that you're going to have some guys coming back, and I hold your breath. I get that you might not like the guys that are coming back. I understand that you might say, I just don't want to see Candelario at all. You've invested so much resources towards Candelario. There is, in my opinion, zero chance they're not going to give him a second lease on an opportunity to help this baseball team in 2025. They're not. This organization doesn't have the financial ability, in my opinion, just to flamboyantly let go of guys that they once obviously super believed in not that long ago. So, and then you get into the whole idea of trading. Well, if you're going to get something in return, you're going to have to trade something that's valuable. And the valuable piece is going to come from the farm system that I got to tell you, Nick, like, I'm not trying to say I'm down on it. I already feel like from an offensive standpoint, the farm system isn't like amazing anyways. So you want to give up Sal Stewart. You want to give up Cam Collier. Right, I'm just saying, like, if you got rid of Cam Collier, you got rid of Sal Stewart, from an offensive production standpoint in the minor leagues, then you're left with, like, man, there's really not a whole lot left. Just to get a guy that you would say is eligible for a couple more years to stick with us when we might be, and I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just saying we might not be a great team anyways. It's a tough spot the Reds find themselves in. We've said this time and time and time again. We certainly aren't sellers at this point. But I also don't know, like, if we're all-in buyers either, because it feels like we're just stuck in the middle. Someone might ask, well, how the hell do you get out of the middle? Nick, I have to tell you, like, you've spent a ton of resources in draft capital on starting pitching. So that's the route that you're going to have to go, in my opinion, in order to get, I guess, what I would consider a high-level bat. But Candelario is supposed to be that fix, and we missed. I hate to say that, but that's how I look at it. Like, we had our one chance to go out and get a production bat, and we swung and missed. And he might come back and fill the role anyways. So there's your hope. And I know some people are going to be like, Candelario is the worst. Trace is making up stuff. I was the guy that went viral for yelling about Candelario and his piss poor at bats. Trust me, I've watched enough of him, Nick. But I also, like, hesitantly say I have the same thing you said about McLean and thinking to yourself, there's no way that he's this bad. I don't know how good he is, but he's not this bad. Candelario is in the same boat. He's not this damn bad. Now some are saying, well, yeah, he is. I mean, if you watch him long enough, maybe you feel that way. But you get my point, Nick. I hope people don't just give up on Candelario.
Yeah, you have to be careful at the deadline. I mean, I get people are impatient. They want to win now. But, I mean, we just remember where this team was a month and a half ago, where we're looking at the depth of this organization. There's no one to fill out a lineup that's competitive. And you trade from that, it just is going to make it even harder to do that again in the future. So, I don't know. I mean, there's players that could make sense if they become available. I see everyone is on Jarren Duran, which I think every other team in baseball is probably also going to be on Jarren Duran. I mean, he's a guy that has multiple years left. Yeah, sure. I mean, you could make an argument that would fit. I mean, it would have to be a player with multiple years of control. It would be malpractice to try to trade with a 20% at best chance of making the playoffs for players that are rentals, unless you're giving up, lottery tickets like the Reds have in the past when they added Sam Moll to try to help them, that kind of stuff. But I don't know. You have to be careful. I'm going to be just as invested in this organization in 5 years as I am right now. I get some might not, but a team like the Brewers, that's the best model. They don't go all in at the trade deadline. They never do. and they continue to stockpile talent, and that's how they win. That's the only way this organization will ever do anything that is worth more than a 1-year cute run.